Right, am I live? Yes, I'm live. Right, we're back. And we're back with another preview. It's come around pretty quick to be fair, and it's that time of the season again, and Champions League football is back in our lives. But first, housekeeping. Subscribe, like, share, do whatever you gotta do to help this channel grow. I have shared the stream on Twitter, so anyone who can contribute to the stream by sharing it, doing whatever you gotta do. My Twitter, if you can see on here now, is just Yash B. Just go on the page here, follow my TikTok as well. And like I said before on this channel, everything is in my YouTube post, in my YouTube bio. And yeah, it's not going to be a long one today because we're going to cover the stuff that we cover normally: team news, team selection, Arteta's press conference as well. He's done it earlier because we are playing earlier tomorrow. We're playing at, I think, quarter to six UK time, which we haven't had that for a while, to be fair, in a European game. But yeah, I think there are some decent games that same day. I think Tottenham v Real, that's definitely one I'm going to look out for the most. I think let me see what other ones there are. Juve Dortmund, that's tomorrow. Benfica Karabag, Real Madrid Marseille, Tottenham v Real, Nicola Pepe FC. And then yeah, Wednesday we got Bayern Munich Chelsea, PSG Atalanta, Liverpool against Atletico Madrid, Ajax Inter, and then we've got Man City Napoli on Thursday. Same with Newcastle and Barca. So yeah, some decent games on. And one thing about this Champions League like new format is that the games, there's loads of like very good ties, and I like how, because you haven't got to play a team home and away, it's not like a team will just play right in the away game. We're not going to be that conservative because we can nick points later on. Now you have to go for it in every single game. That's something that I like. Now, let's go to his press conference reaction because, like I said, we do play Athletic Club. A lot of people call it Athletic Bilbao, but I think the correct way to pronounce it is Athletic Club. And Arteta has done his press conference, so let's have a look because there is some news regarding injuries as well, so we've got to have a look at that. On the feeling of the camp coming into the game, we're excited to start again from scratch in a beautiful place in a stadium that is going to generate something special. We're looking forward to that, and I'm very excited again to step by step start to build some momentum and start to have some wins. One thing about Arteta is this guy likes to use some like mad words. Uses words like special, generating a special atmosphere, beautiful place. The amount of words, like big words, this guy uses is crazy. And yes, this is something that I did want to talk about. Gabby Jesus, Kai Havertz, Ben White, Martin Odegaard are still out. To be fair, we knew Havertz, Jesus, and Ben White were going to be out anyway. Martin Odegaard, he did come off in the game against Nottingham Forest, so you would think that Ethan Nwaneri will start in his place, which I'm all for that. Getting some more Champions League experience, getting him to get some minutes under the belt, because he did play well against Nottingham Forest, to be fair. On the popularity of more direct play, evolution of the game is faster, the spaces are smaller, and everybody is trying to take advantage of other aspects of the game that are obviously key to win football matches. And at the end, you have to dominate nowadays everything in football to give yourself the best chance to win the games. Now, I've hardly seen anything of Bilbao really, apart from maybe them in the Europa League last season. However, one thing about Spanish teams is that they like to play quick transition football. They like to play fast, I guess, direct. Some of them are possession based, but they have some very technical ballers out there, and especially with Bilbao, because they only sign players from the Basque region of Spain, from what I've done with my research. And look, Spanish teams, we saw this in pre-season when we played Villarreal. that they were outplaying us quite a bit for large parts of that game. And yeah, we did beat Bilbao in that game because I think we beat them like 3-0, but that was the only game in pre-season I really saw where we were playing quick football, and that's something we have to do again. Yes, we're away from home. Yes, it won't be as easy. The crowd are going to be up, but if we can do what Manchester United done, silence the crowd quickly, because let's be real, United won that game for much in the Europa League semi-final, but they got the game done quickly, and that's something we've got to do. And I've said this before on the channel, the home games in the Champions League, you have to win those. So, and you've got to pick up the points away from home wherever you can, because it's not easy. And going away from home in Europe is completely different to going away from home in the Premier League. Like, yeah, I don't know, Brentford away, it won't be the same as going to a similar level team away from home in Europe, because it is a different ball game. But look, I do expect us to win this game. I think it will be. I think we will get the win, but it won't be easy. I'll put it that way, because these Spanish teams, they know how to play ball. Excuse me. Whether Erdegaard will travel into Spain, no. I think we kind of guessed that anyway. On having the chance to rotate, yes. Well, it will depend on the availability of the squad, the form of the players. Now, unfortunately, we have a few players already out, so that is already limited in certain positions. But hopefully, we come to the point at a competition and level performance of the players that is that high, that we are able to do that very efficiently to win more football matches. Right. Didn't really answer the question there, but do I think he'll rotate? Not really, to be fair, because I'm not sure if Norgard is even fit. Because if he wanted to even rotate Zubimendi, but I can see him wanting to play Zubimendi because we're playing against a team from La Liga. He has played in La Liga. I think they're rivals as well, I'm pretty sure. Because he's played for Real Sociedad, and they were in the Basque region of Spain. So even if Norgard was fit, number one, he's hardly played anyway. And number two, throwing him into a Champions League game, I don't think Mikel Arteta will actually do that. To be fair, the only sort of other players I can see him probably rotating in is probably, he could give Martinelli a start, but then again, I don't think he will. Trossard, not really. I think he will go with the same front line, being Noni Madueke, Eze, and Gyökeres. I think the only thing I can really see is him starting Winery. And to be fair, he may even give Declan Rice a game. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I'll actually tell a lie. I wouldn't be surprised if Marino played again, because if anything, I see him starting Declan Rice against Man City. And you know what? A game like this, you can probably get away with playing Mikel Marino. Like I said, that midfield pivot of Zubimendi and Marino play together in Spain. We're playing against a Spanish team. I can see that being the case, and having Waneri in that team as well, that midfield should deal with them. But like I said, we haven't played. I'm not seeing much of Bilbao apart from the pre-season game, but I do expect that midfield to be more than enough to deal with that. And whether Gyökeres can be rotated in the absence of Jesus and Havertz, well, let's see. Against Forest at the end, Mikel Marino played as a 9. We have Leo who can play there, probably his best position at the club. We have other options and other formations that we can adjust to that. At the moment, Victor is doing really well, and I'm really happy with that. And so it should be. Victor Gyökeres should be starting up front. And yeah, there probably are some games that you can rest in. This game being it, probably not. It's still quite early into the season to even probably think about rotating and resting players. But yeah, like I said, with a player like Victor Gyökeres, needs to get him scoring goals. And I did say he will score 20 goals in the league. He scored 3 already. I do expect him to bag a fair few amount of goals in the Champions League for as long as that we're in it. But yeah, this guy just wants to score goals, and that's something we've missed. A player that is goal hungry. On Bukayo Saka's fitness, No, I think there are still quite a lot of things to go through. It's very early to understand which and when and which week he's going to be available, but he will certainly be pushing to be available as quick as possible. Now, with that, it's all good him being pushing to be available. This manager needs to manage his minutes, and we've got Madueke, who, yes, is early, but he's playing well at the minute. Madueke should be still playing games, and Saka should be biding his time. Even when he comes back, just don't start him. Leave him out of the squad. Well, leave him out of the squad. Just put him on the bench for some games. Just give him 20 minutes, 25 minutes off the bench for about a couple of games straight, and then you can think about starting him. Especially the fact that you paid 52 mil for Noni Madueke, and you got Ethan who can play there. You got Madueke who's playing there right now. You haven't got to rush Bukayo Saka back, and that's one thing with this manager. He rushes players back way too much for anyone's liking, and it's going to affect this guy's career as well. If he keeps on playing too many games. Right, I do not want to start my computer. I don't know what that's doing. On whether he senses Arsenal can win the Champions League after a summer spent strengthening the squad. Yes, like the rest of the teams, that they have done the same and they continue to do that, and they've won it in many occasions. That's the aim in the beginning, but we all know that it's going to be a really long journey. Another buzzword. The margins in this competition, buzzword, margins, are super small, and you have to be your very best from day one to give yourself the best possible chances. Now, obviously, this guy's talking in riddles again, but I can answer that for him on whether we can win the Champions League. Not with this guy in charge, and we saw that last season when we put all our eggs into that one basket against PSG, and his game management fucked us over. So, or whether we can win it, yes, we can win it. With this manager, no. And that's one thing with this team. The squad is there, but we can't win with this guy in charge. On what he learned from last season's competition, that we are good enough, all right, mate, that we can compete against any opposition on the day. And on top of that, two things have to go your way. All right, what's this? You need to have a full squad available when it comes to the most critical moments. Bullshit. And then as well, the ball has to go in at the right moment or with the right decision. Not sure what that means. It has to be as well because the margins are so small. Now, that's not the case. You haven't got to have a fully fit squad available. By all means, you don't even need to. Because let's say, for example, if we were to go into that Champions League final for whatever reason, without Bukayo Saka, because we have Madueke who can play there, without Saliba, because Mosquera can play there, without Calafiori, because Lewis Skelly can play there, without Timber, because Ben White's probably back then, I'm pretty sure quite a lot of people would back us to win that game, depending on who it's against, with that squad. And I've just named you about a few players that hypothetically wouldn't be fit for that game. And that's the reason why you have a squad, because you're going to get injuries. You're going to get players that aren't going to play every single game. But that's the reason why you have a squad, and that's the reason why you need not just numbers in depth, but quality in depth as well. On the decision to add so many new players being based on last season injuries, well, when we were training and we had 8 or 9 fit players and we were going into games with 13 players, and at that level, it's extremely difficult. But I even think without condition, we did really, really well. No, we didn't. We gave ourselves an unbelievable chance, and we're very, very lucky. We were very unlucky in the semi-final not to go through. We weren't unlucky. You fucked us over in the first leg for not playing Marino up front, for not starting Lewis Skelly in the midfield, for not maybe even starting Zinchenko in that midfield. And that wasn't unlucky. That was down to your dumb game management as to why we never done that. And the second leg, yes, there were players that never took their chances. However, they say in football, your team is a reflection of your manager. And in that semi-final, we saw a team that were mentally weak, bottled it, struggling. This guy's saying that we were unlucky in that semi-final. I don't get what the fuck he's on about. But that's basically Mikel Arteta in a exact nutshell. This guy just chats absolute. Well, this guy just chats absolute shit, really. And by the way, this fucking new iPhone update, if any of you have got it, it looks nice, but it's fucking weird. Right, that's another thing I've got to fucking get used to later. Brilliant. Right, on using the hurt of last season to win the Champions League, it's not that simple. You are so willing to do it and you want to be better. I sense a very clear intention that they want to be better every single day, and that's the start and the end. There is nothing else to control. Create the energy. Oh, great. Creates the energy, the belief amongst the players, that understanding, the feeling that we can compete against any opposition. Don't know about you guys, but that sounds exactly like his fucking speech before the game against PSG, when we brought out that fucking bed sheet of a tifo in the first leg. But yeah, next, on whether his family are attending the game, we're going to know that. On Arsenal feeling under pressure, having never won the Champions League, that tells you of our long history now, how difficult it is because we haven't won it yet. And that's the opportunity. That's how I see it. The pressure is the opportunity that thrives, the energy, the willingness to be better, and every single day to make decisions that are in that direction. Every decision has to be with those standards and those. Fucking hell, this guy speaks in fucking riddles, doesn't he? On disappointments, past disappointments, helping the side. Yeah, blah blah blah. I ain't gonna know that. On being labelled as one of the best managers in the world by Ernesto Valverde and what he feels returning to the Basque region. First of all, I'd like to thank him for his words. For me, he's always been a reference for several reasons. Firstly, because he's been in the profession for almost 20 years, and everywhere he's gone, he's left two things. First of all, the successes in the clubs he works for and the mark he made in the way that he behaves. The humanity he shows and how natural he is in the fucking hell, all this glazing is crazy. But yeah, that Valverde saying he's one of the best managers in Europe, he's saying that based on what? We don't know. But yeah, apparently Luis Enrique said that we were the best team in Europe last season. But even then, that's a lie. But to be fair, I did see a quote from their manager saying that he said that, which I don't agree with. But yeah, there isn't really much here. Or what we expect from Athletic Bilbao. Obviously, they'll try to do what they want. It's an extremely dangerous team when they do that, when they're at home. They have the capacity to do that in different ways. Do what in different ways? We want a very different kind of match to what they want, and as usual, we'll try to diffuse our quality and try using our best players to play. And speaking of that, to be fair, we just have to do that. We've got to let our attacking players just play with freedom, and that's one thing with this manager that he's got wrong since he's got it. He not overplays, he overcoaches players way too much, and it's taken away the quality. And we've seen with this manager the amount of attackers that have died under him, and apart from Bukayo Saka, really, what attackers has really improved? Because he had Pepe, he got disrespected in my opinion. Aubameyang died, Lacazette died, Martinelli's dying, Trossard's dying. Who else? He never really gave Reece Nelson an opportunity. He's fucking retainers, honestly. I get a list every time I fucking speak of them. But yeah, Reece Nelson never really gave an opportunity. Noni Madueke, the jury's still out. But yeah, like that's one thing about this guy, and that's just down to the way he sets up our attack. He doesn't give him enough freedom, that's all. But that's it from the sort of press conference, really. It's a lot of riddles this guy is speaking in, to be fair. But we got through it, and look, I think we will win. I think we will win this game. And it's good to get a win under our belt in our first game of the season because our first Champions League game of the season, because if I look at our fixtures, I'm going to have a look at them now. Smash the likes up as well. Those that are in here, helps the stream out a lot. Arsenal UCL fixtures. Cool. So we've got Athletic Club tomorrow. We've got Olympiacos, Atletico Madrid on the 21st of October. Why is it showing me these fixtures from here? Then we've got Slavia Prague away. Bayern Munich at home. That's the one. That's a big one. Club Brugge away. Inter Milan away, but that's towards the end. And then our last game in the Champions League is at home to Kairat Almaty. But to be fair, I expect us to qualify well before then. To be fair, if we do our jobs in this competition, that Inter game won't even matter much. But like I said, games like Olympiacos, I expect to win. People are going to say this is crazy, but Bayern Munich at home, I expect to win from that. And yes, Bayern Munich are a good team. They got loads of quality in attack, but we're at home. We should be beating them. If it was away from home, it's a whole different story. But yeah, it's at home at the Emirates. I expect to win. And same with the other home games, Olympiacos and Kairat at home. But yeah, in regards to the team lineup, David Raya will be in goal. I can't really see Kepa playing this game. Then Timber will start. Calafiori will start. I think Gabriel Mosquera will play this game. I don't think he will start Hincapié just yet. I can see him staying with Rice, Zubi, and no, not Rice. Mikel Merino, Zubi, and Ethan Waneri. I can see those being that same midfield from the team that finished off the game against Nottingham Forest, but obviously Rice came off the bench, didn't he? So yeah, and then Madueke, Gyökeres, and Eze. Really, that's about it. So yeah, David Raya in goal, Timber, Mosquera, Gabriel, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Marino, Waneri, Madueke, Gyökeres, and Eze. That is my starting 11. Score prediction, I'm going to go with 2-0 to Arsenal. I think it won't be a dominating game. I think we will win it sort of comfortably. But we are away from home, and that's one thing we've got to be aware of in these type of games. But that is it from me. We've done the press conference reaction. Those of you who just joined, the video will be available on playback, so you guys can go check it out. But yeah, it's been a good stream. We've covered the press conference, gone through what I think about the game, and gone through my starting 11. But that is going to be it from me. Hopefully we can get the win tomorrow. But yeah, big up to everyone